Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to start by getting you guys to introduce yourselves. So tell us your name, what you're studying, if there's any majors, and where you're studying as well.
Awesome. I'm Georgia. I'm studying at Southern Cross University on the Gold Coast, and I'm a nursing student in my third year, which is really exciting.
My name's Angela and I'm studying the Diploma of Nursing through TAFE, Queensland at the Southport campus.
Hello everyone, my name's Anthony. I'm studying third year dentistry at Griffith at the Gold Coast campus.
Great. Well, Georgia, I'd like to start with you. What drew you to a career in nursing?
Everyone asks this question, and it's such a big question, but short story is I just wanted something very cliche that is something that will help, someone that's going to be there for people in their lowest times. And the more I've practiced the nursing career, the more I've been drawn to it. I really like the critical thinking and the knowledge that you get from being a nurse.
Is there any particular area in nursing that you're interested in most?
I've been really lucky with all my placements. Every placement I go on, I think, oh, I'd like to do this. And then I go on my next placement and I go, oh, I could do this as well. So just whatever opportunity comes to me at the moment, I don't have anything that I'm locked into.
So you said you've done a lot of placements so far. So how much prac does make up your degree and how many hours are involved?
Yeah, so at Southern Cross, we have 800 hours. So you complete 800 hours in the hospital to get your bachelor at the end. Different specialities, so it just depends on where in the hospital you get put. But yeah, 800 hours altogether.
So talk me through some of the practical experience you've had so far.
So I have been placed on a cardiac ward, cancer care and haematology ward, stroke, respiratory, all different specialities, which I've been really lucky. Lots of my friends have been to emergency, ICU, really critical areas as well.
And in addition to all of that prac work, you have a lot of labs that you do at the uni. I've actually visited the nursing labs at Southern Cross Uni. They're awesome. You guys have some really cool equipment in there, the SimMan technology as well. Can you talk me through a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we have something called a SimMan, which you interact with someone who basically does everything a human does. So it can vomit, it can do everything a human can do. And that's where you get assessed with your critical thinking, your communication, and being able to work in the environment like a hospital.
And it is set up just like a hospital. So how much lab work is involved with your degree?
Yeah, so with every unit that has a practical experience, you'll have a 2 to 3 hour lab every week, which you'll be learning everything that you'll be doing in hospitals, so medications, needles, wounds, anything that you would need to do in the hospital setting, you will be learning throughout your 3-year degree.
Great. Anthony, I'm going to move on to you. Your degree is the first step towards dentistry. Can you tell us a little bit about the studies you'll be undertaking to become a dentist?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, I'm in my third year out of what's a total of 5 years to become a qualified dentist. So Griffith, the way that they've structured it is they've split it into 2 separate courses. So a 3-year undergraduate degree, which is called the Bachelor of Dental Health Science, on top of and then after that, you follow up with a 2-year Master of Dentistry, which forms your 4th and 5th year. So after completing both of those, and you get an automatic entry provided you pass the 3-year undergraduate Bachelor of Dental Health Science into the Masters. And after those 5 years, you're a qualified dentist and you can go out into the world and work in whatever, or you can even specialize as well. So there's the options for you there. But yeah, you are a qualified dentist once you complete those 5 years.
I heard that Griffith has a fantastic student health clinic. How soon do you get to work with the public?
Yeah, so you've caught me at a good time actually, because this year is actually my first year that I've begun working in the dental clinic at Griffith. So I'm actually seeing patients and treating them right now. So there's a variety of things so third year is when you do start seeing patients in the clinic. This year, it's mainly focused on exams, scale and cleans, which I'm sure some of you or most of you would have experienced yourselves, and the whole polishing and all of that. And also we do some simple operative procedures or surgical procedures for fillings as well.
Great. Now, Angela, you've had a career change into nursing. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey?
Originally, I was working in administration, and then I had a child and went on maternity leave. Took a couple of years off, well, 6 actually. Then I started working as a teacher's aide while my son went to school. Seemed like a practical choice. Realised that it just wasn't quite what I was looking for, and then the rest started with a dog bite, actually. My girlfriend got attacked by a dog, and I had to take her to the hospital and get photos for the council. So I'm there with the doctor, and he's holding open this gashing wound, and I'm just casually taking photos and realised I could actually do this. Blood didn't bother me at all, because obviously that's a part of the job.
A big part, I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and just that caring for people and knowing that I could keep my cool in that situation.
So I hear you're studying through TAFE Queensland's online program.
Yep.
So how has the flexible learning helped
Oh,
you?
it's been fantastic. Being a mother, I was able to do almost everything online. We had a few residential schools. They were sort of blocks of 2 weeks and 1 week. And then obviously clinical placement as well. So we have 400 hours through TAFE. But online, I was able to still go to all my son's school events, and yeah, just got to be a mum while studying and getting my diploma at the end.
And talk me through some of those clinical placements that you've done so far.
Oh, my first one was oncology. Well, you do aged care first, but then oncology at Gold Coast Uni Hospital. That was actually a really interesting placement. A little challenging, obviously, dealing with death and, grieving families. But I actually really enjoyed that. It really brought out that caring side of nursing. And then my last placement was up at Greenslopes Private Hospital.
Great. So you're going to be an enrolled nurse. An enrolled nurse at the end of your diploma with TAFE Queensland. So what are you hoping to do?
So I've actually just got my diploma. I got it on the 19th of March.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm waiting for my registration now, because obviously you've got to do that first. But at the moment I'm looking into general practice and working in a clinic, or just, again, while my son's still young, that's a really good avenue for me to follow.
So I'd love to know, did you always have a passion when you were at school to be a nurse? And Anthony, with you, did you always know you wanted to be a dentist?
Yeah, so for some reason, ever since I was a little girl, I've always just known I wanted to be a nurse. So whenever someone asks me why I want to be a nurse, it's sort of that question of, I don't know. I've just always had that passion. But yeah, always.
I'm going to go on a completely different path and just completely disagree with that point of view there. Personally, I mean, I wasn't born ready to become a dentist. And at least my personal opinion is passions are not, you don't inherently have a passion when you're born. You develop them through your experiences throughout your lifetime. So probably around late year 11, through my studies in biology, I grew fascinated with all the intricacies of the human body and how everything functions. And so that led me to wanting to work in a career in health. So that was the first step. The second step was to narrow down what to work in health. So I had to dig deep and see what else I liked. So I had an interest and a fascination in entrepreneurship or innovation, doing something that allows you to be self-employed and starting your own business. And on top of that, I had my own jaw misalignment issue, which was treated by dental professionals, whether it be dentists or orthodontists, throughout my teenage years as well. And so I highly admired the work and the service that they provide to me. And that's what led me to wanting to give back to the industry through being a dental professional. So dentistry, I guess, was the right blend of a career in health, something that allowed me to be self-employed in the future through starting my own private practice, and something that obviously with all health professions allows you to help and empower people and improve their quality of life.
I'd love to know from each of you what your advice is for anyone out there who is considering a career in health.
go for it. No, it's a fantastic career. There's so many avenues that you can choose. You know, nursing, there are so many different pathways, so many jobs that you can do at the end of it. It's absolute fantastic choice.
Yeah, same path as Angela. There are so many opportunities that stem from nursing. You can specialise, you can go anywhere in the world and work as a nurse. So if you are considering a career in health, I would just go for it because there's no better place to work.
Yeah, pretty much just echoing the same things, but also just to add on as well, and this probably applies mainly to those more high ATAR entry courses like medicine and dentistry. Do it because you want to do it, not because your parents want you to do it. Because if you do it to impress your family or impress your friends, then you won't be able to cope when you're out there in the real world.
Is there anything you wish you knew before starting your study in health?
Not particularly. I feel like I went in pretty prepared. TAFE was, again, amazing, just giving us all the information we needed when we started.
Just a career opportunity when you are studying to be a nurse. After your first year of studying, you can become assistant in nursing. So I've been able to work while I've been studying at the hospital in Tweed Heads, and that's something that I did not know when I started nursing, that in such a short time you could be out practicing what you're learning without any specific qualifications. You're hired as an undergraduate assistant nurse, so that's something interesting to look into.
Yeah, for me, mainly just because dentistry is such a hands-on profession. I would have liked to have had experience working, say, as even a receptionist or an admin assistant in a dental clinic a bit earlier on in my degree. So I just had no real experience kind of going into clinic and practical and kind of just figuring it out on my own, really, with my mates. So that kind of made it a bit difficult. Yeah, that's probably the main thing.
And I'd love to know why each of you chose the institutions that you did to study at.
I did a bit of research into which TAFE, just with their online program and the way it was structured, really suited me.
So I actually wasn't enrolled at Southern Cross before I started. I was enrolled at a different institution, but I went to Southern Cross's open day and got to find out lots of exciting things. It's got free parking. It's a beautiful campus that you see whales jumping from when you're practicing your needles and wound management, which I find really exciting. And it also is just a little community where your lecturers know your name, you get to know everyone in your cohort, where you're not one in hundreds of people in a lecture theatre.
Okay, I'll be absolutely upfront. I was born and raised in Melbourne, so I'm not originally from Queensland, not originally from the Gold Coast. I aspired to do dentistry though, so I applied all around the country, and Griffith Dentistry was the only the offer I got back in 2019. So I packed my bags and I moved up here.
And what's the end goal for you guys? What are you hoping to achieve with your careers in the health sector?
Difficult question. Just job fulfillment, and I think finding a role that's suited, and I think that sometimes means giving a few different things a go. I know, like Georgia said before, each placement you do, you find something extra that you think, I could actually really enjoy that job. So yeah, it's just finding that niche where you want to settle and keep, doing that same job for, the rest of your working career.
Yeah, so every prac I've been on, I've liked, but I would really like to specialise in something, become an educator, do something further, but I just really don't know what that's going to be right now. But that's the exciting thing, that there's so many opportunities in nursing.
Yeah, as for me, I really, just broadly speaking, I just want to make a positive impact and improve people's oral health-related quality of life. So my aim is to do that for as many people as I can, as possible. And a lot of people fear going to their dentist, so if I can minimize or even make it a comfortable experience, then that would be my job well and truly fulfilled.
Well, we do have some time for questions from the audience. If anyone has a question about health or studying at any of these institutions, anyone brave enough? Yes? We've just got a question down the front here, Charles.
I was just wondering what ATAR you need to study dentistry at Griffith?
So I was waiting. I was waiting for this one. It varies very slightly year to year, but generally speaking, it hovers around 99.8 at the moment. Yeah, I can't sugarcoat that at all, unfortunately.
Is there a way that if you don't achieve that 99.8, other avenues to get into that dental sciences degree?
Of course, yeah. So that's actually what I did personally. So getting 99.8 statistically, you have to beat 99.8% of the population. That's how the ATAR system works, right? So not many people get that, obviously. And it's only a minority of the cohort, my cohort, that have actually gotten through that pathway. Large majority have gotten through previous university study. So what I would recommend if you're personally wanting to study dentistry at Griffith is to do, say, physiotherapy or nursing even, right? General health degree, anything. You could even do business. We've got students that have come from business and engineering or architecture, and now they're doing dentistry. The main thing is you have to get, depending on what grade system unis use, it's either GPA or WAM or WAM, or stands for weighted average mark. So generally the ballpark is the Griffith's GPA is on a 7-point scale. So 7 is really what you're looking at. The equivalent for the WAM or the WAM or the weighted average mark, which is out of 100, would be 85, or absolute bare minimum is 80. So that's really what you're looking at. But getting into Griffith dentistry specifically through doing a university degree is statistically much easier to do compared to straight out from high school from ATAR. So yeah.
Do we have any other further questions from the audience?
Is it Georgia from Southern Cross? I just had a question about when you're doing your nursing placements, can you choose what placements you go on, particularly if you're interested in specialising in something?
So in regards to the place or the ward or the place in Australia?
I guess the ward, what you're actually doing on that placement.
Okay, so with Southern Cross, you do get a preference as to where you go. You can put, say, Gold Coast Uni Hospital, Robina Hospital, as to what hospital you would like to go to. But when you're talking about the ward, generally it will be given to you. In your last year, you have a month placement where you can put in, say, pediatrics or oncology or somewhere you want to specialise in. But generally speaking, if you want to specialise in something, it will be in the last year that you'll get the placement, unless you're just really lucky. But lots of the hospitals will accommodate you. So, for example, in my first year, I thought I wanted to be a midwife. So I spoke to my clinical facilitator and she took me up to the women's care ward. So whatever you want to do, lots of the hospitals are very eager to help you get there. It's just not, you won't spend the whole time in that place, if that makes sense.
Angela, do you want to talk to the TAFE side of that?
Yeah, the same thing applies with TAFE. Your placements are allocated for you. We did get an expression of interest sent out for the Green Slopes private, which is why I chose that one. And in that placement as well, the facilitators, who I'm going to say are amazing, they're so supportive. They came to us and said, look, is there anything you would like to do? So then we all got a bit of a rotation. I did GE and got to watch some surgeries, which was a really, really, really exciting. That was pretty good. Also did another stint in oncology as well. So yeah, there's a little bit of flexibility, but obviously they've got to work with lots of students.
Yeah, if they were to accommodate every student, I think everyone would want to be in pediatrics because that's what everyone wants to do, or emergency, and they wouldn't have anyone else wanting to go to the general wards, which is where you get most of your experience. So it is a perk not choosing where you want to go, because I wanted to do something so different to what I think I want to do now, because every prac I've been on, I'm like, oh, this is what happens here. Oh, I do like that. So it's good not being able to choose.
Any further questions from the audience at all? No? Well, if you do have any questions, feel free to come and chat with these guys. They're going to be at their separate education providers booths today. Thank you all so much for chatting with me all about health today.